What was the first day as a constable like in the West Midlands?
I always wanted to be a police officer, and I went to university, and then after university, a few months later, I'm on the streets of Birmingham. So it's a bit of a shock to the system. In policing, you see life in the raw, you see the best of people and the worst of people, and it was fantastic. And the thing that stuck with me throughout is our people are fantastic because they're so committed to the mission. They will stress themselves, strain themselves, put themselves at risk. And being part of that has always been a privilege.
Sir Mark, what I find it fascinating are the stereotypes that Americans have. Our basic idea is our police are armed to the teeth, all the uproar with ICE and all that now. And am I right that a police officer in the streets of the United Kingdom doesn't carry a weapon?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So it's still like Mary Poppins.
It's still like Mary Poppins, without the dodgy Van Dyke accent. It's still like, it's
Be careful now. He's 101 or something. We hope we get there.
It was really. That's exactly it. We've got fewer than 10% of our officers are armed, so we have specialists who are highly trained who we deploy to armed incidents. But we have such a different context. Our firearms legislation is really restrictive. It's hard for criminals to get hold of guns on the streets of London. Not impossible, but we're constantly suppressing that, stopping organised crime gangs bringing illegal firearms in the city. I mean, last year, 2025, we recorded the lowest per capita homicide rate London's ever had, 97. Bear in mind, we're a slightly bigger city than New York. New York's at record low levels as well. That's 300. We're 97. It's a fantastically safe place. And we're really proud of a policing by consent style that's based on relationships with the communities, minimum use of force, but also being tough when we need to be.
Commissioner, how many police officers are in the London Metropolitan Police? And give us what's a typical officer?
So we've got about 31,000 officers, about 10,000 unsworn staff. So we police like a city of 9 million people, and just like New York, you've got then millions of tourists and commuters coming in on top of that. So I put our people in sort of four broad groups. So we've got community police officers, the foundation. They work the same patch every day. They know the community. They're fighting crime where people live and building that relationship with communities. Secondly, you've got your response team, so your 911 in your language, 999 in my language, calls that are turning up and dealing with crisis, sort of stabbings, domestic violence, whatever else it might be in the moment. And then thirdly, our detectives who are chasing down cases, whether it's street violence, whether it's sort of rape and sexual violence, and they're all supported by organised crime teams who are critical at taking out the most insidious crime that underpins it.
Talk to us about just in the world we live in today, just with Iran, what's going on with Iran.
Yeah.
London, obviously a global capital. You have to think about what's going on in the rest of the world, much like the police commissioner of New York City would as well. How do you deal with what's going on in other parts of the world and how it may relate to, again, a world capital like London?
Yeah, so I was with Jessica Tish yesterday. We've got so much in common between London and New York, and sharing ideas and sharing experiences of the threats we're facing. We're probably the two greatest cities in the world, I would say. Yep. And that connection to the rest of the world, those complex, diverse communities, it's a fantastic place to be, but it also means you're linked to every challenge in the world. So, for example, with what's going on at the moment in the Middle East, we've had in the last couple of years, we've disrupted more than 20 Iranian directed plots on the streets of the UK. That's wow. So Scotland Yard, we don't just police London, we lead the national counter-terrorism policing effort as well. So we have a national responsibility and a city responsibility.
Sir Mark Rowley with us here, of course, of the London Metropolitan Police as Commissioner. Honored to have him with us to say. We say good morning to all of you across the United Kingdom and around the world. Bloomberg Surveillance. So here's the reality. I'm at Scott's in Mayfair. I'm like slumming. I'm at, you know where it is, okay? I'm at Scott's in Mayfair. Here's the reality. I never sit outside in Europe when I have food or drink because the phone goes right off the table. The phones get stolen. You're leading the charge on it. What do you need from Tim Cook so I can sit outside at Scott's again?
Okay, so firstly, what are police doing about it, and then what can tech companies do about it? So in the centre of town now, it's at half the rate it was a year ago. Last year was 10,000 fewer victims. We've been taking out the organised crime gangs. This is a global hundreds of $1 million trade because the problem with the security on these phones is that the tech companies have done an amazing job so we can run our life on our phones, our data's secure, people run their banks and everything else. That's fantastic. but the physical security has had less attention. So the phone that gets stolen from you in New York or Paris or London or Madrid or wherever, that can be rebooted and sold as nearly new and sort of wiped, not with your data in it. Those phones have been exported to China, Africa, South America, and sold for high value, and that is driving the trade. What we need from the tech companies is to be able to turn the stolen phone into a brick. If you report it stolen, you should be able to log on to your Android account or your iOS account and put it down as stolen, and then it's never going to be reactivated. That would crash the second-hand value, and that would stop the thieving. So we can keep driving it down. We hosted a conference in London last year. We had people. We had Santiago, Tokyo, Barcelona, Rome. We had cities across the world who are all facing the same. This is an issue for global cities. It's happening across the world.
Come on, we went to the moon. Why can't Tim Cook fix the phone once and for all? I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. I hope I can have that conversation. We used to have a problem in the UK, and I imagine here as well, where 30 years ago car radios would be stolen out of cars. Guess what? We redesigned dashboards, didn't we? You can't steal a car radio now. It's like integral to the whole vehicle. If you say to your kids, "Are you worried about your car radio being stolen?" They think you're mad.
Yeah.
But so why can't we design this out? It's the same. It's the same
Right.
thing. If that was a brick when it was stolen, that would kill the global trade in this.
Talk to us just about technology broadly in policing. I have to think it's like the rest of us, it's changed the way you do your job
Completely.
from your first days to how you're doing it now. How do you stay on top of the technology?
So that's one of the things Commissioner in New York and I were discussing yesterday about clever things they've done, clever things we're doing, exchanging notes on it. Keeping pace with that is really critical, both to keep pace with criminals, also to make best use of the data. A quick couple of examples. So we've been using sort of algorithms and sort of data science to identify the most dangerous men who are pose a threat to women and children. So you get all these allegations of sexual violence. You follow the case by case, but how do you spot the most dangerous man who's the most biggest risk out of 10,000s of cases? Data science does that, and then you throw the kitchen sink at getting him off the streets and in prison. Another use, we've been using facial recognition on the streets of the UK, live facial recognition. I know that makes people here feel a bit nervous. We've been really thoughtful and careful about it. We've got 85% public support for it, and we're arresting over 1,000 people a year who are dangerous offended, wanted offenders. It's so powerful.
I mean, I looked it up, folks. I mean, it's Alexis taught me how to use Google Gemini, and I'm killing it. New York Jessica Tisch has 100,000 cameras. You have, by this listing, 940,000 cameras. You have 8 times as many cameras. You have 85% public support. From where you sit, Sir Mark, what in God's name is America getting wrong on the idea of getting the thugs off the street with cameras?
So,
I mean, my whole knowledge of this is slow horses. I mean, that's
it's a great show, isn't it?
It's a great. Is it real? Is slow horses?
No,
when
it's
you
not
watch
real.
slow horses,
And I hope my personal hygiene's a bit better than the lead character as well.
when you watch Emma Thompson on down Cemetery Road, is that real?
It's not real. It's not. It's great fun though, isn't it? I mean, I watch these shows as well. They're fantastic. Any more than I doubt The Wire is real.
The cameras work, right? That's the bottom line.
The cameras are fantastic, and sort of what they do is, so we have, how about this? Our homicide solved rate, over 95% of cases we solve. That's way above American cities. That's partly about technology. It's partly about great detectives. The facial recognition stuff, we've worked hard to make sure we're using it ethically and carefully. We're showing the public the results of the sort of dangerous sex offenders and the wanted people we're taking off the streets. We've got 85% for that support. So I think we can, in policing, make the best use of modern technology. We shouldn't be scared of it. But you've got to be thoughtful and clever about it, because if you misuse it, you'll break that trust. And the thing I'm most proud of what we're doing in London at the moment, trust in the police is going up. Even in this world where trust in the state is so challenged and there's hostile states trying to undermine it and all of this difficult polarised dialogue, trust in the Met is going up because of the policing we're doing.
Why are you here?
Here, exchange notes with Jessica Tisch and other commissioners, meeting up with the FBI colleagues because, we do this national counter-terrorism work, and that's important to sustain those relationships and talk about cases.
So it's like a plumbers convention. It's just everybody's got a uniform.
They all get together.
And then I'm out to the West Coast as well to talk to your tech industry.
Oh, junket, it says.
Disneyland, very good. What's the biggest challenge for you these days in a world where there's so much change, so much uncertainty?
So keeping pace with the technology, which is hard in the public sector for all the reasons we've discussed. building trust in a world which is so angry and polarised, and all the hostile debates that go on online is so difficult. And economic issues means we're a police force which is having to get smaller. So doing better while getting smaller is hard. But we're arresting 1,000 people more a month than we were a couple of years ago because of all the clever stuff we're doing and our fantastic people.
Sir Mark, I got one final question. It's critical. I noticed the BBC is a small news organization.
I know, I've heard about it.
Over in London. You had a blistering conversation that you need 70 million pounds, that's the currency over there,
all right,
for policing of football teams, of Premier League. Like they're basically doing their security off your budget as well. What in God's name are you going to do about Tottenham being relegated? I mean, what does that do north of London if Tottenham is relegated?
So most people outside London will probably celebrate that. I'm an Aston Villa fan from my Birmingham roots.
Ira Jersey told us this.
Yes. I'm not going to sort of shed any tears if they do get relegated. I'm most interested in whether my team get into the Champions League this year.
They look pretty good. I mean, Aston Villa's exceeded.
We've got a brilliant Spanish manager, Unai Emery, who's completely transformed the club. It's great.
Did you go to
and you've got the World Cup coming here as well, haven't you?
Did you go to the concert in July at Aston Villa, the metal concert?
No, I didn't. The Ozzy Osbourne one, his last concert.
You didn't pull a security thing.
No. I did once see a couple of decades ago. I saw Bruce Springsteen at Villa Park. That was an amazing.
We have to go, but Sir Mark, I have only one thing for you to understand. John Farrow, when he grew up as a tough kid in Coventry, he has a police blotter. The things he did in school were unspeakable. So next time you come, we'll introduce you to John Farrow of Coventry, England.
Well, we'll get a few historic clear-ups from seeing him, maybe.
Sir Mark Rowley here with all of the men and women in duty at a difficult time. Of course, the knock-on effects of a war as well. He is the Commissioner of London. We thank him for being with us